Hey there, all you fantastic people. I hope your day has been absolutely wonderful. We're back for another exciting episode of What If Naruto Became the Windlord. Make sure to show some appreciation to the talented author behind this fanfiction. You'll find the link waiting for you down in the description. In this What If, Naruto finds some scrolls that contain Fūton Jutsus. When he goes to ask the old man about them, the answers he gets will change his life. If this What If has your imagination running wild, drop a comment down below and let me in on your thoughts. And don't forget to explore the array of other captivating what ifs available on this channel. Alright, without further ado, let's kick off this video and dive into this exciting journey. It was early in the morning when the two figures appeared on top of the Hokage monument. One of them was a girl no older than 12. She had short purple hair that was tied up in the back, so it looked like it was standing up. She wore a tan trench coat, a black shirt, a yellow skirt, leg guards, and ninja sandals. Her partner had spiky yellow hair that went down to his shoulder, blue eyes, and whisker marks on his face. He had on a white sleeveless shirt, baggy white pants, and ninja sandals. Around his waist was a blue sash that had a pouch tied onto it near his rear. He had wanted to buy something with the orange, but HinataAnko and Yuruchi smacked some sense into him. Well, Anko and Yuruchi smacked him, and Hinata, after applying some healing salve to his bruises, explained why he shouldn't. On the ground were several spray cans. "This is such a good idea," said Anko as she smiled like a maniac. Too bad that Hinata didn't want to join in on the fun. "Come on Anko-chan," said Naruto as he picked up a can. "You know Hinata-chan doesn't like this kind of stuff." Anko just huffed at that. "She could have kept guard or something like that," said Anko as she looked away. "Don't worry about it," said Naruto as he picked up another can and tossed it to her. "We just have to do this quickly or else we'll get chased again. Remember last time we got caught?" Anko shuddered. It was the worst punishment they had ever had. The tension she could handle. Cleaning up the mess was not so bad. Visiting the people she accidentally injured was iffy at best. But nothing compared to listen to the Hokage drone on for hours about how irresponsible they were and stuff like that. "Never again," she said. Naruto nodded at her and then smiled. "Now let's show these people what art is," he said. Sadly for them, it took longer than expected. This resulted in Naruto, Anko, "Get back here," shouted an angry Chunin as he chased the two across town. "No way," yelled Naruto without looking back. "Like hell we will," yelled Anko. The villagers who saw this stared only for a moment before they carried on with their daily activities. Things like this were very common, since the two hellspawns became friends. Now it was like a ritual that would take place at different times. They would cause trouble, get caught and run for it, and then Iruka would catch them. It is amazing what you can get used to over time. Naruto and Anko were able to outrun their pursuers and hide from them effectively. After hiding behind a cloak that looked like a fence, the two Chunin that were tailing them jumped right past. As soon as the coast seemed clear, they came out from under the cloak and began to laugh at them. It was truly funny seeing that they were Chunins who were maybe 10 to 15 years older than them, and had been outwitted by two 12-year-olds who weren't even genins. Sadly, Iruka appeared behind them, and their laughter stopped. "Naruto, Anko, what are you two doing cutting class?" Naruto turned around to see Iruka. His eye was twitching. They both just chuckled nervously before they were tied up and dragged back to the academy. "Tomorrow is the graduation exam and you do this. If you have so much free time you should be studying so you don't fail it again," yelled Iruka at Naruto once they were back in the classroom. The kids laughed at this. Yeah, I was just trying to have a little fun," commented the blonde. Iruka then turned to Anko. "The same applies to you, young lady," he said as he pointed to her. "Do you really think that doing things like this is such a good idea before the day of the final exam?" "Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time," said Anko with a weak smile. "And now?" asked Naruto as he knew what she would say next. "It was a great idea," she said with a full-blown grin. Iruka just smacked his face. "For that, we are going to have a pop quiz on the henge. Everyone, to the front of the class." Everyone began to complain, but did as they were told. One by one, each of the students began to transform into Iruka. Of course, all the girls were all over Sasuke when he went up. They said he was cool and amazing and all that stuff, and, naturally, he ignored them. When it was Naruto's turn he did his transformation, just not into Iruka. Instead, he turned into a naked girl with pigtails. In surprise and perversion, Iruka fell backwards as a stream of blood gushed out of his nose. "How do you like that, sensei?" laughed Naruto. "I call it the Warg no Jutsu." "Not stupid made-up jutsu," shouted Iruka as he got back up. "This is your last chance, so don't screw around." Later that day, Iruka was watching Naruto and Anko as they cleaned up their mess. "You can't leave until this is all cleaned up," reminded Iruka. "Whatever, it's not like I have anyone waiting for me back home," responded Naruto as he continued to brush off the paint. "Same here," said Anko as she did the same. Despite how close the two of them were, they never did move in with each other. Somehow they both knew that putting two of the most hated children in the same place at night was asking for a mob to show up and burn down the place while they slept. Then there was their already close relationship. even though they were close, they had never been on a date. Mainly because Naruto was equally close to Hinata. But due to their closeness, rumors had spread that involved inappropriate activates for people their age. The source of these rumors, Sakura Haruno, was repaid for these calumnies by Anko with a trip to the hospital. Sadly, that did not stop the other students from whispering. Naruto winced when he heard that. Over the years those two had grown on him. He even remembered when he began to doubt that they were all that bad. It happened shortly after Hinata was kicked out of her clan. Neji, her former cousin, was waiting for her after school. He somehow cornered her against the wall and began to beat the living hell out of the poor girl. Before Iruka could stop it, both Naruto and Anko had stepped in. Naruto ran up to the older boy and tackled him onto the ground. Anko went to make sure Hinata was alright before helping Naruto remove some of Elder Hyuga's teeth. After Iruka stepped in and separated them, he asked the two why they helped Hinata. Naruto simply said that Hinata was their friend and Anko nodded while glaring at Neji. Neji was suspended for a week for that, and Iruka got an earful from the Hyuga clan. They thought that the punishment was too harsh, since he only gave her a black eye and broke her arm. That day had also had an effect of Naruto. Whenever he saw Neji fighting, he could feel the rage that the Hyuga genius felt. It was the same with Sasuke. They both used their anger as fuel, and yet, even though they won almost all of the time, they never seemed happy. So Naruto decided never to go into a fight holding a grudge or anything like that. He would fight for the pure enjoyment of fighting and to protect others like he did with Hinata. That way, win or lose, he would walk away with a grin. Iruka sighed and decided to pull out his trump card. Hey Naruto, when you get down I'll treat you to a bowl of ramen. And Anko, I'm sure they will have some dango for you. Naruto and Anko turned to look at their sensei with a look of hope and love. With the promise of their favorite foods they got to work faster than ever. Later, while Naruto was downing his third bowl of ramen and Anko was enjoying her dango, Iruka decided to ask an important question. Naruto, why did you fail last year's exam? He asked. Naruto turned his head and gave the elder nin a questioning look. I know you have the Bunshin Jutsu down pat, but last you messed up on purpose. Ah, said Naruto as he looked down at his bowl. The truth was he could have passed it all 3 times, thanks to the training he got from the old man. However, the first time he got sidetracked while working on a jutsu and spent the entire night working on it. So when it came time to make a clone he didn't have enough chakra. The second time was because he had summoned the boss salamander and went through the trials. He was so tired the next morning that he couldn't concentrate, even with Kyuubi healing him. He then looked back over at Iruka. I didn't want to take a chance that would get me on the same team as Neji team. Iruka blinked and Naruto continued. That bastard's mad at Hiashi for forgetting to put the seal on Hinata, so he takes out his frustrations on her. There's no way in hell that we could ever work as a team. Nothing's worth that, even a year's supply of ramen. I see, said Iruka. Hey sensei. What is it Naruto? Can I try on you Hidayate? Sorry, but you'll have to wait for tomorrow after you pass the exam. Iruka gave Naruto a knowing smile, and then sent him on his way with Anko. The next day was the big day. Naruto had arrived early to make sure he was there. When he got into the room he spotted Hinata. She was wearing a tight black outfit like what Yurichi wore sometimes. However, lately she had been wearing a heavy tan jacket over it. When he had asked why, she blushed and said there was no reason. Since she had been kicked out of the Hyuga clan, people had a change in attitude with her. When she first came as Hyuga Hinata, people were polite and nice to her. Some of the parents told their children to suck up to her, so that when she became clan head that she would remember them. It was always good to have the Hyuga clan on your side. Then, when she was kicked out, a lot of people asked if there was anything they could do for her. But that soon changed. Once word got out that she was kicked out for her weakness, slipped out by Neji to the children and Hiashi to the parents, people looked at her like she was a nuisance. Parents stopped telling their children to be nice to her. In the academy, some of the more stuck-up girls would laugh at her behind her back. Pity for them that changed. Over the years, she rose to the spot of #1 Kunoichi of their year, with Anko nipping at her heels. She was just too fast that no one could touch her. Little did they know, she was holding back. Hey Hinata-chan, said Naruto as he walked over to sit next to her. Good morning Naruto-kun, said Hinata with a blush. The years of being in training with Yurichi had gotten rid of her stuttering, and had given her confidence in herself. She had also developed a crush on the blonde shortly after he saved her that day on the street. It was only when she was around him that she was a bit shy. So are you ready for the test this time? Don't worry about me, said Naruto as he gave her his foxy grin that caused her to become a tomato. I'll be fine. That was when Iruka and Mizuki entered the room. Okay, today is the Genin exam, said Iruka. When I call your name, please come into the back room. Let's start with NarutoHinataAnko. When he said that a black ball-shaped object came through the window and then became a banner that said, NarutoHinataAnko Future Genin. Wow, she pulled it off this time, said Naruto with a laugh. I was wondering where she was, said Hinata with a deadpan expression on her face. Iruka did his demon head jutsu to yell at Anko before pulling her into the back room. When she emerged she was wearing a Hidayate. One by one, Iruka called out names to meet him in the next room to be tested by him and his assistant Mizuki. Soon his name was called. He soon found himself facing his sensei. Okay Naruto, said Iruka, all you need to do is make a clone and you pass. Do your best. Right, Bushin, no jutsu. A large puff of smoke appeared and filled the room. It was so thick that no one saw Mizuki placing a genjutsu on Naruto's clone, that made it look half dead. You fail, shouted Iruka shortly after the smoke cleared. Hold on, said Mizuki as he tried his best to sound sincere. He has the concept down and was able to make a clone. I'm sure we could pass him. Naruto looked up at this. His hopes were high. Maybe he would pass after all. Sadly, those thoughts vanished with Iruka's next words. No, we can't pass him. The other students were able to make at least 3 clones, and they were able to walk around. Naruto's clone is useless. I'm sorry, but it wouldn't be fair to the rest of the class. After that, Naruto sat on a swing watching the parents of the other students pick up their children as he sat on a swing. He heard people saw that they were glad he didn't become a shinobi. Anko couldn't be there for him because she was in detention for that stunt earlier, and Hinata had been pulled away by Yuruchi for a moment to give her a surprise. Personally, he didn't mind, he wanted to be alone for a while. He had failed, and they had passed. If he stayed around them it would just be a reminder that they were now genin, and he was still a student. Soon Mizuki came over to Naruto and asked if he wanted to talk. Naruto agreed and followed Mizuki to the top of the Hokage monument. Don't be too hard on Iruka, said Mizuki. He just wants to see you do your best. He really cares about up. Naruto said nothing, he just looked down at the ground until Mizuki spoke again. There's another way to pass, but it's a secret. What is it? Asked Naruto. All you have to do is sneak into the Hokage's office, steal the forbidden scroll, and learn one jutsu from it before someone finds you, he explained. Later that night, Naruto snuck into the Hokage's office and grabbed the scroll. While he was making his escape, the Hokage entered the office and saw him. Thinking quickly, Naruto used his Warrick no Jutsu on the old man, knocking him out cold. After that, Naruto quickly made his way to the place where Mizuki had told him to go to. As soon as he got there he opened the scroll. Okay, time to learn a jutsu, he said aloud. The first jutsu was Kage Bunshin. It was about an hour later when Iruka showed up. Naruto looked like he was exhausted. Hey Iruka-sensei, looks like you found me, said Naruto with a laugh. Naruto, what are you doing here? I did it, Iruka-sensei, cried Naruto as he ignored the question. Not only did I steal the scroll, I also learned 2 new jutsu from it. It looks like I passed the secret test. What secret test? Asked the dumbfounded teacher. The one Mizuki-sensei told me about. He said all I had to do was steal the forbidden scroll and learn one jutsu, and I could become a genin. Naruto, began Iruka, but stopped when he sensed Mizuki appear on a tree branch above them. I see you found him first, said Mizuki with a smug look on his face. What's going on, sensei? Asked Naruto. Naruto, Mizuki lied to you, said Iruka as he pulled out a kunai. He used you to steal the forbidden scroll for himself. Naruto, said Mizuki with an evil look in his eyes, have you ever wondered why you are hated? Would you like me to tell you? Why? Asked Naruto. Don't, shouted Iruka. It's because you are the Kyuubi no Kitsune, said Mizuki with a look of glee on his face. What? That's impossible, yelled Naruto. Think about, said Mizuki. Why do you think everyone hates you? Your birthday is October 10th, the same day as the day the Kyuubi attacked. And those whisker marks. Think about the names all the villagers call you. Face it, you are the demon fox. Even Iruka hates you because you killed his parents. Naruto fell to his knees. This was too much for him to take in. But it was beginning to make sense. Seeing Naruto in this state, Mizuki flung one of his giant shuriken at Naruto. However, it impacted with Iruka's back. When Naruto looked up he saw Iruka as he began to cry. Iruka-sensei, why? Asked the demon vessel. Naruto, I'm so sorry. I was the same as you. I know what it feels to be all alone. When my parents died, I became the class clown so people would notice me and my grades slacked. I'm so sorry I never helped you when you really needed it. With that Iruka fell down. In pure panic, Naruto grabbed the scroll and ran away. Mizuki soon began to chase him, and shortly after that so did Iruka. Iruka saw Naruto jumping from tree to tree with the scroll on his back. Naruto, he called out. Give me the scroll and let's go see the Hokage. Then, all of a sudden, Naruto turned and tackled him. Iruka fell down onto the ground and turned into Mizuki. Naruto jumped down onto the ground and laid it back against the tree. How did you know I wasn't Iruka? Asked Mizuki. Then Naruto turned into the scared Chunin. Because I'm Iruka. I don't see why you're not helping me kill that monster. He killed your parents. You saw the way he looked. That was the look of a monster with no remorse for the lives he has taken. Help me kill him and together we can take the scroll and become powerful. You're right, said Iruka. Monsters do kill without remorse and they do terrible things. In his hiding place, Naruto began to sink into despair. Iruka thought of him as a monster as well. However, he was amazed at what he said next. But that's not what Naruto is. He's nothing like the demon fox. He is a kind and hard-working boy that everyone ignores. He is one of the finest students I have ever taught and will become a great shinobi one day. You are a fool, Iruka. Now die, said Mizuki as he reached to his back to pull out his other shuriken. That's when Naruto's foot impacted his face. Mizuki was thrown back several feet but did not fall down. Thanks for saving me the trouble of looking for you. Naruto ignored him, rushed over to his sensei. I'm sorry, sensei, he said. That's okay, Naruto. How nice, said Mizuki. Now I can kill you both at the same time. As soon as he said that, a powerful wind erupted from Naruto that halted his movements. Branches broke and animals took shelter from its force. Slowly Naruto turned around to stare at the traitor. Normally, I don't go into a fight with a grudge or seeking blood. But it's too late for that. I wouldn't let you hurt Iruka-sensei, he said. Iruka was surprised in how Naruto said it. It was calm, as if he knew there was no way he would lose. He then made the ram sign that we all know. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. And with that the field was full of Narutos. Is that all you got? Said Mizuki. Well, he was acting tough, he truly was starting to sweat. This wasn't good at all. Deciding that his best course of action was to attack first and get them by surprise. He threw his shuriken and destroyed several clones. He got creeped out when Naruto just laughed. You know, sensei, he said. I learned one other jutsu. Mizuki then heard a noise behind him and on instinct threw kunai at the Naruto that was attacking from behind. However, when it hit the clone, it did not go puff. It went boom and Mizuki was thrown by the force. I also learned Bunshin Daibakuha. When Mizuki landed, all of the remaining clones moved to keep him in the perimeter. Naruto then moved over to him quickly and proceeded punching the man in the gut repeatedly until he could no longer hear the man's bones breaking. Needless to say, when it was done, Iruka was impressed that his student had learned two powerful jutsu. Hey Naruto, close your eyes, said Iruka. Naruto complied, and when he opened them, he noticed the Iruka's hit I-8 was no longer on Iruka's head. It was on his. Naruto began to jump for joy, and his happiness was infectious. In his office, the Hokage smiled. He had watched the whole thing through his crystal ball, and understood why Naruto did what he did. How could he blame the boy for listening and believing what his sensei told him? But no, he had to make the teams. Well, he wanted Naruto to be happy, he couldn't put him with both Hinata and Anko. That would cause more rumors, and they would doubtlessly spread like wildfire. Also, he believed that Hinata would be better suited on the recon team led by Kurenai. With her speed and bloodline, she would be perfect. Not to mention that the new Jonin practically demanded her to be on her team. He had thought to put Anko in Team 4, but decided that Sakura should be put in that team instead. Then an idea came to mind when he saw the Team 7 slot. The council had made a powerful case that Sasuke be taught by Kakashi. In principle, Sarutobi agreed that that was the best choice. Kakashi was the only person in the village who could teach the boy. Sadly, Kakashi had his flaws. The old Hokage had a long-standing belief that the one-eyed Jonin had been failing his previous teams on purpose, so that he could be Sasuke's sensei. Also, he was very lazy and would most likely ignore his other two students. When he voiced this to the council, they had insisted that the Uchiha was more important. So Sarutobi was having a hard time deciding who to put in that team. He thought of Sakura first because she didn't seem to care about her training anyways, but she was now out of the picture. He needed two people who were already highly skilled above their age group, who would need a sensei that could be there when they were over their heads. And there were only two that he knew of. On Monday morning, Naruto sat with the others as Iruka went over the list of teams. He heard Sakura whine when she wasn't placed on Sasuke's team. Then Iruka got to Team 7. Team 7 will be Uzumaki Naruto, Mitarashi Anko, and Uchiha Sasuke. Your sensei will be Kakashi Hatake. Team 8 will be Inizuka Kiba, Apuram Shino, and Hinata. Your sensei will be Yuhi Kurenai. Team 10 will be Yamanaka Ino, Narashikamaru, and Akamichi Choji. Your sensei will be Sarutobi Asuma. Hey, wait a minute, screeched Sakura. How come Naruto gets to be on the same team as Sasuke-kun when he failed the exam? There was a group of nods with this statement. Naruto took a makeup test that was 10 times harder and passed, said Iruka as he set his clipboard down. Also, these teams were selected by the Hokage himself. If you have a problem with it, you can take it up with him. Now, you may go to lunch now, and when you are done, please wait here for your new senseis to arrive. I wish you all the best of luck. Why Kami? Cried Naruto as he ate lunch with Anko and Hinata. Do you hate me that much? Why do I have to be stuck with Sasuke? Hey Naruto-kun, said Anko as she put down her tea, and then threw her last dango stick at a tree, to create the leaf symbol. Are you done whining about this? It's starting to get on my nerves. Well, said Naruto as he brought a hand to his chin. I was going to start listing the reasons why this is a bad idea. Then I had planned on going over all the injustices that we have gone through in the entirety of our lives. Finally, I would have finished it all by saying that we should be on the same team. I know how you feel, said Hinata as she put down her bento box. I thought that the Hokage would put us all on the same team since we work so well together. I know Hinata-chan, said Naruto as he slapped his knees. That's what I've been trying to get at. We work perfectly together. Hinata-chan finds them, I beat them up, and then Unko-chan ties them up and gets any information she can from them. You know me too well, said Unko with a blush. But, I guess I can see why we are on these teams. Like Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino are on the same team because their fathers were on the same team and worked well together. I guess he's sticking with what works, so he's doing it with everyone. I didn't know that about Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino, said in amaze Naruto. You slept through that lecture, deadpanned Unko. Over on a different part of the academy grounds, a pink-haired girl was crying her eyes out. She had not been placed on the same team as her Sasuke-kun, not only that, but also when she had asked to eat lunch with him, he just vanished. She felt like Kami hated her. Really, it's just me. Watching her were Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino. There, said Ino as she patted Sakura's back. It'll be fine. Who knows, you might like your team. But I wanted to be on Sasuke-kun's sniff team, wailed Sakura. It's not fair. Ino turned to the other two who were watching this and eating. Would you two help out here? She asked demanded. It's not like there's anything that we can do, said Choji as he continued to eat some chips. It's the Hokage who set up the teams, not us. Shikamaru sighed. Maybe you'll meet someone else, he suggested weakly. Sakura just cried harder, and Ino shot him a dirty look. Troublesome. It's not fair, whined Sakura. How come Naruto Baka gets to be on the same team as Sasuke-kun? Well, maybe it was because of the makeup exam he took, suggested Choji as he tossed his empty bag away and opened a new one. Iruka-sensei said it was much harder. No way, said Ino. He couldn't even make a simple bunshin. I bet he sucked up to the Hokage or something. She paused for a moment and then smiled. Or maybe someone thought that he would make a good punching bag for Sasuke-kun. She laughed at that. Or maybe someone just wants him dead, said Sakura darkly, causing everyone to look at her. My mom's always going on about how they should just kill him, but no one can do to the Hokage. What if someone wanted him to become a shinobi so he could die on a mission? That wouldn't take too long since he is a talentless loser. Shikamaru didn't say anything to this. If he had, it would have fallen on deaf ears. He has seen and heard this kind of attitude before. It was the strongest with the adults, and with the children there was a watered-down version of it. In fact, even Iruka-sensei seemed to hate Naruto on the first day of class. What was most puzzling was that no one would ever give him a clear reason for this behavior. Ever his parents had tried to change the subject when he asked them one time. He wasn't so much of a friend of Naruto's, but no one deserved to be treated the way that he was treated, at least, not without reason. So what was the reason that caused people to hate Naruto at the level that they did? Then he dropped his line of thinking as it was becoming troublesome, and leaned back to stare at the clouds. So it looks like we'll be on the same team, said Kiba to Shino. It appears so, said Shino in his usual tone after a moment. It also looks like Hinata will be on our team, continued Kiba. We could have done worse. Sakura and Ino aren't that good when it comes to the physical stuff. And she's not that bad looking. As he said this, a smile came to his face. Shino looked at him when his insects told him of his increased pheromone level. I would strongly advise you from making any attempts to become emotionally involved with her, said Shino as he adjusted his glasses. Dating within the team would cause problems, and would most likely lead to our deaths. You must learn to keep your private and professional lives separated completely. Also, Hinata seems to be attached to Uzumaki. Kiba just snorted at that. I'm 10 times better than he is. Right, Akamaru. The little puppy on his head gave a small bark in agreement. I look better, I'm stronger, and I come from a well-known and respected clan. What does he have that I don't? Shino stared at Kiba for a moment and then sighed. He smells better, replied Shino. Later, all of the former academy students went back to their classroom to wait for their senseis. One by one they were called until only one team was left. That team just kept on waiting. And waiting. 2 hours later. Why are we still here? Screamed Anko as she stared at the door. She then spun around to look at Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke was still in his seat, brooding away. Naruto was lying on his back, staring at the ceiling. Hey, does anyone know anything about our sensei? Sasuke just glared at her for a moment, then went back to his brooding. Naruto sighed and decided to answer. I have, he said. And it wasn't anything good. Apparently, our sensei is well known for stealing other people's jutsu. At that, Sasuke started to show some interest. Other than that, I got nothing. Steals jutsu, said Anko softly as she looked back at the door. Well, maybe he should steal someone else's sense of time. She then marched over to the door and pulled out some supplies from her coat. Due to her back being turned towards the two boys, they couldn't see a thing she was doing. But, based off her killer intent, it would be messy. Another 15 minutes passed before Kakashi finally decided to grace them with his presence. When he reached the room, he noticed an eraser being held up by the door. Such a childish thing, he thought as he opened the door. The eraser began to fall and then went poof. In its place was a kunai that was caught by Kakashi with little problem. However, the sizzling sound he now heard from the door had him concerned. It was an exploding note. It was a double trap. The kunai was a distraction to keep my focus away from the note. With that, there was a large boom. Naruto, Sasuke, and Anko covered their eyes as their sensei vanished from sight in a cloud of smoke. Pieces of dirt and wood flew at them and bounced off their skin and clothing. When it stopped, they opened their eyes to see Kakashi standing in the same spot he had been without so much as a hair out of place. "That was very childish," he said. "Well, my first impression of you is," he paused for effect, "you're idiots and I hate you." This earned him glares from everyone, and he just smiled back at them. "Meet me on the roof in 5 minutes. With that, he vanished in a cloud of smoke. 5 minutes later, they were seated in front of their lazy, one-eyed sensei. "Okay, let's start with introductions," said One Eye. "Why don't you go first, sensei?" suggested Anko. "Fine," said Kakashi. "My name is Hatake Kakashi. I have likes. I dislike hobbies. I have a dream." He then tilted his head to avoid a kunai that was thrown by Anko. "Okay, Blondie goes first." "Alright," said Naruto. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like training, my friends, a good fight, and ramen. I dislike the 3 minutes I hate to wait for my ramen and people who think they are better than other because they belong to a big clan and things like that. My dream is to become Hokage. Hobbies. Pulling pranks." Kakashi nodded and then looked at Anko. "My name is Mitarashi Anko. I like dango, sweet bean soup, my friends, and snakes. I dislike people who think I'll turn into my grandfather just because I'm related to him, and spicy food. My dream is to become the next head of the Anbu torture and interrogation department. My hobbies are tea ceremonies and pranks that scare the living shit out of people." "I still can't believe that you got into that," said Naruto. "I can't believe that you like to garden," said Anko with a smirk. Naruto chose that moment to shut up. "And last is Sasuke," said Kakashi as he ignored the other two. "My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I have no likes or dislikes. I don't have a dream, it's more of an ambition. I want to kill a certain man." "I thought so," thought Kakashi. "So I got the 2 pranksters and an avenger. Well, now that that's out of the way, tomorrow we will be going on our first mission," said Kakashi. "Survival training. We did those at the academy," stated an annoyed Anko. She was really beginning to dislike this guy. Her eye began to twitch once Kakashi began to laugh evilly in response. "This isn't the kind of survival training that you're used to," he said. "This is to see if you become genin." "Hey," shouted Naruto. "We already took the exam." "Oh, that," said Kakashi offhandedly. "That was just to see if you could become genins. Out of the 27 students that graduated, only 33.3% will actually become genins." He paused for effect. "Alright then, be at training ground 11 at 6 AM sharp. Don't eat breakfast or else you'll puke." He smiled then left. "I think I'm going to hate that guy," said Naruto. Anko nodded as Sasuke walked away. The next morning, the 3 members of Team 7 made their way to the appointed training ground. Not seeing anyone, they decided to wait. And wait. And wait. Did I mention they waited? 4 hours of waiting later, Kakashi appeared in front of his student as a puff of smoke. Immediately following that, he had to dodge another kunai that was thrown by Anko. "Sorry I'm late," he said with a nice smile. "I got lost on the road of life." The 3 of them had different reactions. Naruto had an eye twitch. Sasuke was glaring at the man. Anko just pulled out another kunai and threw it at him. Only this time it was aimed at his groin. Kakashi vanished and then reappeared near some posts and sent down some box lunches. Then he pulled out an alarm clock and set it near the lunches. When he turned to look at his students, he saw that Sasuke's eye was twitching, Naruto was gritting his teeth, and Anko was seeing red. "What is that?" said Naruto as he pointed at the alarm clock. "What we think it is." Kakashi nodded. "And you're still late," growled Anko. "How the hell did you ever get to be a jonin?" "You should know that this test ends for everyone at noon," said Kakashi as he ignored that last question. The 3 of them gasped. Well, they had been waiting for him. All of the other teams were most likely finishing up elsewhere. "Where's Haruno?" said the jonin sensei for Team 4. The other 2 just shrugged. "Well, I won't tolerate this anymore. When you next see Sakura, tell her she is the reason you 2 were sent back to the academy. As for her, she's being bumped out of the program. Now that I have your attention, I will explain the rules." Kakashi pulled out 2 bells. "All you have to do is get one of these bells from me before the timer sounds." "I think you're missing one," said Naruto. "There's only 2. "That's right, Naruto," said Kakashi. "There are only 2 bells. That means that at least one of you will fail. The person who doesn't get the bells will be tied to a post and is forced to watch everyone else eat. Also, that person will be sent back to the academy." As he said this, he was looking at both Naruto and Anko, as if he was trying to guess which one would fail. He then tied the 2 bells onto his side. "Now, I want you to come at me with everything you have. Attack me with the intent to kill. If you don't, you will never pass. Begin." As soon as he said that, the 3 young shinobi vanished from sight. Over with Iruka and the Hokage, everyone's favorite scar-faced Chunin was looking over Kakashi's history with his genin teams. However, all he saw were the names of people he had failed and then kicked out of the program. When he reached the last page, he realized that Kakashi had never passed a single student in his entire career. "Why did you assign Naruto under this man?" demanded Iruka. "I taught a lot of people who were sent to him, and I know they would have become good shinobi. And look, they were kicked out. I did it because it is the best way for Anko and Naruto to pass," said the old Hokage. "I don't get it," said Iruka. "How does putting them with Kakashi help them pass?" "I have long suspected that the council and Kakashi have come to some sort of agreement," said Sarutobi. "They want him to be Sasuke's sensei regardless of the consequences. If I am right, Kakashi has been failing his students on purpose, so he would be free to be Sasuke's sensei. And since it's an all-pass or all-fail test, he can't just allow Sasuke to be his only student. And if he fails them, the council will be on his ass. They want Sasuke to become a good shinobi as fast as possible, so he can revive his clan faster. But if you're wrong, then they still might fail," thought Iruka. "I have no doubt that Naruto and Anko will work as a team, but Sasuke is a different matter. He has the skills, but he lacks the mentality. He thinks of others as dead weight that will just get in the way. You'd sooner see Orochimaru doing a can dance than Sasuke working with others." Sarutobi stared at the young Chunin. "Never put that image in my head again," he said. "So Anko-chan, how do you want to do this?" asked Naruto quietly. They were hiding in a tree while staring at Kakashi, who hadn't moved in the last half hour. "Well, first we need to know how serious he's going to be taking us," said Anko. "Most likely, he'll treat us like we're a joke. So if he does, then we have the element of surprise. If he does take us seriously, then we'll have no choice but to bring out the big guns." Naruto's eyes widened. "Not the big guns." "Alright then," said Naruto. "I'll go first. If he isn't taking us seriously, then will I catch him off guard? You can get his bells." Kakashi scanned the area. So far their ability to hide themselves was in the acceptable range. Now he just had to wait for them to come and try to take the bells. After all, why go out looking for them when they had to come to him? I wonder who will try first. As soon as he thought that, Naruto jumped in front of him. "Hey," said Naruto. "We're going to fight now. You know, compared to the others you're a little weird," deadpanned Kakashi. Naruto shocked him by grinning. "I like to do things my own way even if it doesn't make sense," he said. He then began to do some quick stretches. "Now let's have a good fight." "Very well," said aboard Kakashi. Lesson 1. Taijutsu. He then reached behind his back and pulled out an orange book. In one motion he opened it and began to read. "Begin whenever you're ready." "What are you doing?" asked an annoyed Naruto. "It seems you really did earn your title of being dead last," said Kakashi. "What's it look like?" "I'm reading." Naruto's eye twitched. "I know what you're doing," he said. "Why are you reading?" "To see what happens next," replied Kakashi. Naruto sighed. "This won't feel right," he said. "Don't worry," said Kakashi. "Your attacks won't affect me at all." "Fine," said Naruto as he charged at Kakashi. He started with the right hook, which Kakashi blocked with one hand, and without looking away from his book. Naruto tried again with his left, then his right, and then a high jump roundhouse kick. Kakashi blocked them all with ease. Naruto then aimed for the old Onin's gut, but Kakashi vanished from sight and appeared crouched on the ground with his hands in the Tora position. "Never allow your opponent to get behind you," said Kakashi. Anko and Sasuke tensed in fear. They knew that the Tora sign was needed for Fūton Jutsus. Konohagakure hidden. Taijutsu no Ogi. Senengarashi. With that, Naruto went flying into the air while holding his ass. But imagine Kakashi's surprise when Naruto did a backflip in the air and began to hover a dozen or so feet above Kakashi's head. "Aitai," said Naruto as he rubbed his ass. He then looked at Kakashi and pointed an accusing finger at him. "That was a low blow. How would you like it if someone shoved their fingers up your ass?" "Naruto, how are you doing that?" asked Kakashi as he began to scan for wires. Sasuke was doing the same from his hiding spot. Finding none, he gritted his teeth. That power should be his. With it, he could easily kill Itachi. "Oh this," said Naruto. "This is just something that I had been working on since I was little. Believe me, when I first got it working, I could only stay up in the air for a minute at most. But now, I can do it all day long. Well, if I had breakfast this morning that would be true. Oh well, no sense bitching about it." Naruto smirked as an idea popped into his head. With great force he shot up and kept on going until he reached the clouds. Shikamaru would do anything for this. He then took a deep breath and then began to fly downward at an incredible speed. Fun fact, the fastest wind speed is 318 miles per hour, and since Naruto can only move as fast as the wind can, Kakashi stared at Naruto as he came down and then pulled up before he hit the tree line. As he did this, Naruto made several clones that fell towards Kakashi. For a moment, Kakashi was confused. What was he thinking? Why weren't his clones flying around? Then he remembered the report from the Mizuki incident. "Shit," he said as the clones hit the ground and exploded. When the smoke cleared, nothing was left of the one-eyed Jonin. All that was left was a crater, well that and some wood that lay in pieces. Anko pieced it together first. She quickly began to scan the area for Kakashi. Her eyes widened when she found him. Naruto. Watch out, she yelled as Kakashi jumped out of a tree towards Naruto. Naruto, who looked like he was standing straight up, flung himself backwards to avoid Kakashi's lunge. Missing him, Kakashi fell to the ground. Well, I will say this, said Kakashi as he got up and looked at Naruto. Out of all the genin teams I've had, you are the first one to ever take me seriously when I said to try to kill me. Naruto grinned at that. But don't let that get to your head. In order to get the bells you would have to get in close. Once you get close enough it will be easier to get you. He was right. The closer to the ground the more restricted Naruto became to objects like trees and buildings. That may be true, said Naruto. But, I'm not your only opponent. Kakashi wondered if he meant his clones when his senses told him to dodge. He jumped to the left as the long flexible blade of an Urumi, weapon the Cho uses against Kenshin, pierced the air where he once stood. He looked over and saw Anko holding the weapon with a grin on her face. She then pulled her arm back and the blade, like a whip, returned to her. While Kakashi had his eye away from his book to look at Anko, Naruto threw some of his kunai at him. Kakashi moved to avoid them, and Anko lashed out with her weapon again. Kakashi pulled out one of his own kunai to block the attack, but Anko saw this. With a twist of her wrist she was able to change the path of her weapon, but Kakashi still managed to block it. Time to give up sensei, said Anko as attacked with her weapon again. This time it seemed to miss him, but swerved to attack him from behind. The weapon struck him, but then Kakashi turned into a log. Kakashi appeared in the middle of the field. It's getting harder to enjoy my book, he said. They are using good teamwork. Anko attacking by land while Naruto strikes from the air is a good strategy. But that's not enough. I wonder how good Sasuke is. A sudden change in the wind caused Kakashi to look up at Naruto again to see him doing something strange. He was spinning his arm around until a small twister seemed to cover it. Hey sensei, said Naruto with a grin. Let me show you what I created without the help of the academy. The twister then got smaller, beginning halfway between his elbow and wrist to half a foot from his fist. Meet the jutsu that I perfected 2 years ago. Senpuken. With that, he shot down towards Kakashi, who dodged it. However, he didn't get far enough away due to him misjudging the damage that it would cause. When Naruto struck the earth, Kakashi was blown away by the winds. Kakashi slowly got up a few yards from where he was thrown. That jutsu is like Myrakiri but with wind. He then noticed that Naruto hadn't taken to the sky again. He was panting and beginning to sweat a little. But it seems that he is running low on chakra. Not surprising considering he's been flying, using Bunshin Daibikuha, and now that's Senpuken at half strength. I better end this. Time for lesson 2. Genjutsu, said Kakashi. He got up. He then did several hand signs and a few moments later, both Anko and Naruto looked like they were about to nod off. A few seconds after that, they were both asleep. My turn, said Sasuke as he appeared to challenge Kakashi. I'm not like the others. Now it's time to see what the #1 rookie can do, said Kakashi as he put away his book. As the two began to fight, Sakura was watching them and cheering for Sasuke in her mind. By the look of her, she had been watching him and only him since he got to the training field. She then held her breath when Sasuke touched a bell, but failed to take it. As he got up, he began to make hand signs. That looks like an advanced jutsu, thought Sakura. No one just out of the academy can do something like that. Not another one, thought Kakashi. Kaden. Kakakyu no jutsu. With that, Sasuke unleashed a large fireball on his sensei. When the attack ended, he saw nothing of the one-eyed Jonin. Then hands grabbed him from the ground and pulled him under while saying, Doten. Shinju's Anshu no jutsu. Soon Sasuke was just ahead. A few minutes later, he heard the sound of the alarm. Time to decide their fates, he said with a nice smile. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below, and turn on the bell notification. And also check out other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.